All right, what up, people? It's your boy Chid from Green and Eagle Eye, coming to you again with a brand new video. This time, much belated. Didn't even think I was going to do it at one point, but Ola just said, "Listen, I've been waiting all this time, so we better do it." So we decided to do a player ratings video for y'all, and it's for a good reason. Who says we only make these shows when there's a negative reason because of high views? It's a time for us to celebrate. And I think joining me to do that celebration is my boy Ola. Say hello to the people, Ola.
What's happening, people? Yeah, back again. We're gonna do this player ratings show. Score them players. See how we get on.
Do what we do, right?
Yeah, it should be a happy one, man. It should be a happy one still. A quick one, but a happy one. You get
Yeah.
me?
For me, it just set the weekend off right. I mean, I know that Sam, big shout out to Sam, he's a friend of the show, and said this on this show. I think it was last week or the week before, where he said
Yeah.
that when Arsenal lose, it just ruins the whole weekend, and
Yeah,
it really
very.
does.
Yeah,
But
man.
when Arsenal wins, it just sets it off right.
Yeah, man.
It
And
makes
it's been a very good sports weekend as well, shall we say, on
it
all
has been.
fronts.
It
On all
has been.
fronts.
From the
So
boxing to the MMA
MMA, yeah.
to
It's
obviously the football.
football. So it's been good. It's been good. And
Well, let me get your quick thoughts on the game before we go into
I
scoring.
mean, quick summary on the game. Uh, I was happy with the lineup
Okay.
when the lineup came out. I wasn't too disappointed with the players that he put out there. I was happy to see a couple players back, namely Bellerin and Ramsey into the starting lineup. So those were very good. Um, but on the whole, I thought we handled the game with intensity right from the beginning of the whistle. From when the whistle went off, we was on them. I did tweet in the first maybe 5 minutes of the game. I dropped to a tweet saying this first 5 minutes is ridiculous. We was on them. We were shutting down the passing lines. We were shutting down whatever it was that they were trying to do. We didn't give them no chance to lift their head up and make a pass. We were forcing it's the first time I've seen Chelsea make so many unforced errors. Like they were just kicking the ball out of play. The passes weren't connecting. They couldn't string a few passes together. They did well a little bit better in the second half, but in the first half, we was all over them. And the game plan, I thought, look, in the reverse fixture at Stamford Bridge, I thought we did kind of the same thing. We showed the same energy. The only problem was we weren't clinical enough. We weren't clinical, and our defensive work wasn't on point. But this time, we were clinical. We took our chances, and we've kept a clean sheet doing it. So, on the whole, uh, you can't be too disappointed because the significance of this game and the weight of the weight the luggage you're gonna have on losing the game, it was gonna be too much. We're gonna be carrying a 9 point deficit, if we'd lost this game. So we were disappointed last week when we lost to West Ham. It wasn't a good one, but to me, this win is now a big building block. It's a big foundation to go on and try and start a new run, because we had a good run before. We started right in the middle of, say, January. I mean, in December and January, and yeah, it's time now to start a new run and see where it takes us. Unfortunately, today Fulham couldn't draw more blood out of Spurs, and then
Mm.
that really disappointed me. But other than that, yeah, it's good. It's a good outing for us yesterday. Really,
Yeah,
really happy with it.
they were very lucky. He, yeah, they were. Oh gosh, just typical Tottenham bumping it.
The lucky bastards.
I was gutted because that would have been the real cherry. And really the reward for the hard work the players have done. Because
Ranieri looked like he was about to cry. I mean, they showed the camera went straight to his face, and he looked dejected out there. But I felt sorry for him. But if there's anything, if there's a positive that you could take out of that game, Dele Alli pulled up. So I thought, okay, that's 3 of them.
No, drop it like 5 now.
There goes the 3rd one. So if there's anything, I was selling. That was like a goal for me in itself. I never wish injury on anyone. I don't wish no harm on no one. But watching him pull up like that, the boy was in agony, and I thought, wow, this is fucking good. This is like scoring the screamer. This one. So yeah, I was celebrating that shit. I ain't gonna lie, man. I was celebrating that shit, man. So yeah, man. That's 3 of them out of the way. So hopefully, I don't know who they got next. Gonna check it out, and hopefully they drop points there, and we drag them into this top 4 race that we got going on. We're not in no relegation race, no mid-table race. We're in the race for that 3rd and 4th spot, and it's open. It's open. It's any one of those 4 teams can get them 2 places. It's open. So it's just for somebody to blow it wide open. We're gonna need 1 or 2 snookers along the way, but it's there to be taken.
It's funny how everybody's perspective over these top 4 places have changed, because over the years we were all very cynical. What's the point trying to qualify for a competition that we have no chance of winning? But I think now what we've kind of learned and appreciated almost about our situation is, we need this Champions League money.
It's opened a lot of eyes.
We need to be in the Champions League to attract the caliber of players that we're looking for.
Absolutely.
And, no one's saying necessarily that we're going to compete with a very, very top caliber of players, but you would like to think Arsenal are a big enough club to at least get the next tier. And even the next tier of players are looking for Champions League football. And I think people like Aubameyang and the Lacazettes, they deserve Champions League football. So it'd be nice if we can get there. But, man, it's going to be a scrap. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm still not overly confident we'll make it, but we've at least given ourselves a chance by beating Chelsea.
Look, the Premier League is very, very unforgiving, and it's a harsh league to play, because you get punished on your mistakes. And right now, we're not the only team making mistakes. All right, United is hot right now, but how long is it going to be hot for?
Yeah,
when the Champions League fixtures come back, and who knows, maybe a team like PSG. Did you see they battered going camp on the weekend 9-0, blood. So if a team like PSG comes round, batters their moral, who knows what could happen with United? Might just stutter, give us a breathing space. We, on the other hand, we have to handle our business. That's the only thing. We have to handle our business. We've got to handle the game, and we can't keep looking ahead. It's all about that next game. And to be fair to Emery, it's always been about the next game. Emery is always been that coach that is never looking ahead. They try, the media might try and squeeze like some answers out of him about fixtures that's coming up. It's always about the next game, and the fair play to him. We've handled this. Obviously, you could see the drilling, the amount of work, preparation that went into this Chelsea game, and that's what I want to see when we play United on Friday. So again, that's
the thing, because I must admit, without looking too far ahead, but the United game I think is pretty significant in the title race, even though it's a different competition. It's the FA Cup that we'll be playing in on Friday, but. I've heard people talk about the fact that it's our opportunity to just cause a little bit of doubt in the United players who, don't get me wrong, their confidence is high now, but there may be some lingering doubt there if we were to beat them in almost a similar fashion to what we beat Chelsea. Because I don't know about you, Probably about 20 minutes into the game, I thought, oh, we're not going to lose this game.
Bro, let me tell you something right now. If we beat Manchester United, we end their season because they're not going to win anything else. So we beat them. We knock them out of the FA Cup. That's the season over. That's it for Manchester United. The only thing they're going to be chasing is top four. They're already out of the League Cup, right? They're not going to win the Champions League. They're not going to win the. Listen, they're not going to win the Champions League. Yeah, they'll start all of that. They're not going to win the Champions League. Yeah, they're not going to win the league. So all they got going for them is this FA Cup. That's the only thing that they're going to. That's what they want. They want to use it to salvage the abysmal season that they've had. All right, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come through. He's try to steer the boat and steer the ship. But you know how long is it going to take before them players there, start disobeying him and start pissing? You know what I mean? They'll gang up on him soon, man. Get him out of the club. Everybody wants him. They want to impress him right now because he's the new guy in charge. But they'll soon get tired of him, man. These players are players with fucking huge egos, man. You know what I mean? And especially, when you know that a manager's job ain't safe, is on the interim thing. Them man, they know they can take the piece. And it won't take long, man, before they start showing their true colors, man. We know what they're like.
It's like supply teachers at school. Yeah,
exactly, like supply teachers at school. You know that's not your real teacher. You know you can't take the piece. You know what I mean?
Very rarely did we have a dickhead supply teacher. Very rarely. But what we knew when we were at school is that when supply teachers were in town, we could take the piss a little bit more. And I think that there is some credence to what you're saying, in the sense that you're seeing Pogba all of a sudden do interviews talking about how life is brilliant again and this, that, and
Fam, the man's talking about I only play well when I'm happy. Okay, so what about when you're not happy? You know what I mean? That's what the man's talking about. Like, I only play well when I'm happy. Like, bro, you're on a lot of money. Whether you're happy or not, you need to be going out there and putting 100%. Fuck your happiness. You know what I mean? What people need is performance from you.
Don't get me wrong, we'll talk more about United when we do a preview of Stel, because it'll be interesting to see Stel's perspective on all of this. But anyway, let's continue talking about yesterday and actually get into the player ratings. So first things first, let's talk about Bernd Leno yesterday. What would you give him out of 10? And people, I know that in the chat room, just to let you know, I know you guys like playing along. So do that by all means. Give your own marks out of 10, and I will keep an eye on that as well. So yeah, Bernd Leno.
Leno had nothing to do yesterday, man. They only had one shot on target, and to be fair, that was right at him. So he didn't really have much to do yesterday, but he kept a clean sheet. It's one of 2 or 3 that he's kept this season. So yeah, I think I'll gift him. I'll gift him a 7. I'll gift him a 7 for that. I was gonna go 6, but I thought he still had to command the back 4 in front of him. He still had to work with them. He still had to communicate with them. So you know what? Actually, I'll go to 6. I'll go to my original thought. I'll go to 6. 6 for Leno. I think 6 is a fair score.
All right. I'll go with 6 as well. I know Claude's in the chat room. Claude's in the thoughts on
big up Claude.
Big shout out to Claude. Claude, I've got to get you back on the show soon at some point, just to let you know, brother. But yeah, big shout out to all the usuals in the chat room, from Buster Cherries to Archie's to Karen Russells. I see you all. Big shout out to you.
Got a shout out Doc T as well, man. My man from Nigeria, man. Still, countryman out there. Doc T, big up.
Of course. Right. Let's go for. By the way, and I didn't mention it in my review, and I felt bad. Hector Bellerin, man.
Yeah. I was gonna do a thing on him, but now we're here. Might as well talk about him. I mean, to me, he's been significant to how well we've done this season up until his first injury. Obviously, we caught him at the Leicester game. If you remember, he got a little shout out from my little Zoolander shout out there. Shout out to Bellerin. But
You know what? He's earned a break from this Zoolander. He's earned a break from it.
Yeah,
They call it Hector. Put some respect
I still
on
put down his
Hector's
middle
name.
name. I put down his middle name yesterday, but I thought, you know what, man, you know what I mean? Fuck it. Yeah,
But
man,
you know
yeah,
what was sad to me yesterday was actually he was playing really well yesterday.
he was playing
Actually,
so well.
defensively, I thought he was really good yesterday. Best I've seen Hector in some time defensively yesterday.
You
I
know,
thought was picking his spots really well, and then he pulled up with that injury. I was like, oh, come on. Just as this guy has just come back and has just started to find his form again, he picks up what it looks like a horrific injury.
You know what I noticed about Hector as well? Ever since he got that elbow from Alonso, where his eyes was all rolling in his head and all of that, and they got a goal from it. Ever since that incident happened, he's raised his game against Alonso every time. Every time we played against Chelsea, he's made sure that Alonso has a fucking bad game. Made sure he had, even at Stamford Bridge. I know we lost that game, but the 2 goals that Mkhitaryan scored was a result of the combination with him and Bellerin in that game.
Yeah.
You know, and the way they pushed him back. You know, the Bellerin makes sure that he gets pushed back because he can't outrun him. And I love watching the battle between both of them because a lot of the time Bellerin will win that match, but it's unfortunate that he's got this injury. Well, it's a season-ending injury now. From what I'm hearing, is a season-ending injury.
You saw the way he pulled up. The season's a wrap.
And any manager will be broken from having 3 key players, and I mean key players, to your team. That's essential to how you play. Having a season-ending injury, you know, one to Welbeck, one to Rob Holding, and now one to Hector, and it's horrible. And we ain't got no. I would say we ain't got money to spend, but we ain't got no wiggle room to bring in personnel to replace these guys, and it's a bad one. I wish him speedy recovery. I hope he gets better soon. It's a horrible one to watch. The stretchers came in straight away, but for what he put in before he went off the pitch, I gotta give him an 8, especially with the assist. I'll give him an 8.
I know it's Claude agreed. I saw Claude's 8 drop in the chat room as well. I would agree with that. I thought Hector played very well. 8 out of 10. Let's talk about Sokratis, who I must admit, brother, speaking as someone who used to play as a central defender himself and used to kind of do the same thing, I loved it when he celebrated that tackle.
Oh my God.
I cracked up, but I loved it. What do you think of this guy, man?
Sokratis is a fucking monster, man. The guy is just ridiculous. I mean, his shenanigans during games. I just laugh when I watch Sokratis, man. Like,
Papa, don't preach.
I mean, this guy, the shithousery he brings, his shenanigans, all the way he tries to. It's almost like he's trying to con the ref, because you know he's just done something. I've never seen a man leave a crime scene so fast. Sokratis, he does his thing and he did from the crime scene, blood. You know what I mean? To the point where the ref's calling him, he's like, me? What, me? What, me? You know what I mean? So I like that part of him. And when he's putting in tackles, there's a bit of oomph to it. You know what I mean? That whoever's tackling actually knows they've just been in something. And we ain't had that type of centre back for a minute. I think probably Martin Keown. I'll go as far back as Martin Keown to the last guy that we had that had this sort of game type about him. And yeah, I love everything that I'm seeing about this guy. I know he's getting on a bit, but he's still got a lot to offer us, at least for what we need to do, because we always have to put that in mind, that as much as we're thinking ahead that we want to be challenging and whatever, our mission right now is to get into top 4. and probably stay there for a season, compete in and around there, and then move forward. So
move
for,
forward.
for what we need to do right now, he's good enough to do that, and I'm happy with him. I'd go with the 8 as well. I'll go with the 8.
Yeah. So just to give you an idea, YouTube says 9, Marbles TV says 8, Archie 8. I saw a 7 from Claude. Claude, as harsh as ever, but yeah, I think I would say I think an 8 is a fair mark as well. Let's go with Koscielny. Someone both of us have been very hard critics of. I know yesterday, blimey, brother, you would not let me rest until you let me know Koscielny was running the show. How good was Koscielny to you?
He was masterful, and I understand when people say he's finished. Claude, big up yourself. But we've said that as well, plenty of times on the show. So in that way, I agree with a lot of that sentiment. But I was just looking at just on that one performance yesterday, which is what I said to you in the tweet. That just based on yesterday's game, forget the last games, forget him giving balls away in the Birmingham final, forget the Atletico Madrid where he fucked up with what's his name, Griezmann. Forget all of that. Just based on yesterday's game, it was fantastic. Going forward, defensive. I mean, we had 5 shots on target. Out of the 5 shots on target, he had 2 of them. One straight at keeper the first time. He had 2 of them, and the other one he scored. So and he kept a clean sheet. And the last touch of the game from when the whistle went off, he was heading the ball out from that little free kick. That he did everything yesterday. Everything you wanted from a captain, everything you wanted from a centre back, everything you wanted from a player that knows what playing in the London Derby means. He showed it all yesterday. You can't fault him. And I said to you yesterday, it was my man of the match, and that was even way before the game was done. And as you saw, he got man of the match yesterday. So that's a 10 out of 10 performance. Scoring a goal, keeping a clean sheet, doing all of that. To me, it was a 10 out of 10 performance. But that's just based on yesterday. Just yesterday alone.
I can see why you say that. I'm not quite there with a 10. I must admit, but I wouldn't hate on you if you decided to give him a 10. I'd give him a 9. I thought he scored a good goal.
Want to meet in the middle? 9.5.
I know that Claude, who funny enough gave him a 7. I know what he's saying in the sense that he didn't have a striker necessarily that was going to cause him any problems. So was he more of a was he the star of the show, or was he more of a decent?
But this is the problem.
I can understand that argument. I can, but I felt like, to me, in my view, he led from the front yesterday. To me, I think as one of my biggest criticisms of Koscielny is he's the most senior person in that lineup in terms of defense who's been at Arsenal. I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And yet he never acts like it. He never leads from the front. But yesterday I saw him screaming at players, telling players where to go, where to stand. Really, you could see it meant everything to get that clean sheet yesterday. And that's what I wish he'd do every single time he turns out on that pitch. Do I see him doing that on a Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday? No. I don't. I don't see. I'm not about to say offer him a new deal. I'm not going to say to you that he should stay past this year, because I don't believe he should. But based, like you said, on yesterday's performance only, you can only play against what you have. And yes,
exactly.
They didn't have a striker. They didn't have a lethal striker. But let's be real.
Can only play against what's in front of him.
You can only play against what's in front of you. And it's not like Hazard hasn't made Arsenal players look like idiots for years himself. Coquelin. See Coquelin when I make a reference to that. So to me, based on yesterday's performance only, he scored a goal, he kept a clean sheet, he played like a captain. Those are 3 huge ticks for me. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. Based on yesterday. Yesterday only.
I agree with I agree with you. I know that's why I said, do you want to meet in the middle? We go 9.5, but I felt like he had a 10 out of 10 performance yesterday. He did what was required, and he stuck to a game plan. We had a game plan. It was executed because as much as we want to say those strikers that I mean the forward lineup that Chelsea had, let's face it, they got nullified, and that was down to the preparation from the manager, because we're not giving the manager enough credit here for making those fucking front three look so quiet.
We will get onto the manager. Trust me, we'll get onto the manager. Let's talk about Kolasinac again. Somebody we have severely criticised, particularly playing in a back four.
Bro,
like
I was shook when he looked like he was going to be in the back four yesterday. I was shook. I was scared. I was scared.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, me too. I was very nervous. Hold on. I'm very much paying attention to what Claude said. Claude says, hold on, Chris. Where he was in when Pedro was free in the box. Oh yeah. But that's why he doesn't get a 10 out of 10 performance from me. That's why. Why.
But who was on that far post where the ball was going to land to make sure that ball did not drop in? Who was there?
I give him credit. Listen, I'm a big Koscielny critic, but I have to give him credit. Bro.
I'm not kissing his ass on this game, but you have to give credit where credit is due, Claude. And I'm with you on your perception on Koscielny. I've been like that for the past 5, 6, 7 years on this guy. Trust me, I'm with you on that. But based on yesterday's performance, I thought he nailed it. He nailed every bit of his performance.
He did. Kolasinac, for me, I'd give him a 7. I thought he was very. I thought he was good. I don't think he was as good as people make out. Like Claude's man of the match was Kolasinac. He's giving him a 9.
Okay.
I think Buster Cherry gave him an 8. Chris Samo gave him an 8. Marbles agrees with me, gave him a 7. What would you give him? Archie gave him an
8. I'd go with the 8. He surprised me in that back four because, like I said, I didn't think he could handle it. I thought it was more of a wing back type situation, and I think because he was playing in a back four is why Iwobi got dropped. So because them two usually have that combination and that relationship when it's playing in a wing back situation, but because it was playing in a back four and it wasn't going to be as adventurous as it would be when Iwobi is on the pitch, Iwobi got dropped for him, he played his role. He did his role. I mean, he bodied up certain players. Did you see him body up Pedro? And I did send that at the time, like him bodying Pedro. He reminded me of Coquelin bouncing off of Hazard, because he just came from wherever they were running from and just bodied him off the ball. So he did his defensive job. Yesterday was probably the first time that I thought, oh, Kolasinac actually did his defensive job properly. Unlike, a lot of the times we always say this guy, is good going forward, but can he defend? Can he defend? And yesterday was probably the first time that I felt, okay, you done your job defensively, and he did it spectacularly. So, I'd go with the 8. I think 8 is a very, very it's a good score. It's a good score for him. It's a fair score for him.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's talk about Guendouzi, who I actually really enjoyed his performance yesterday. I really enjoyed his performance. I thought that he was very good, very clever in his play. And I'm glad he's recovered quite well, because he's had a couple of performances where I've been like, ugh. But yesterday, I actually thought he did really well yesterday. What do you think about Guendouzi's performance?
Yeah, Guendouzi showed a lot of energy. He had a lot of energy about him. It was much quicker on the ball. He was faster on the ball, because usually when he's on the ball, he tends to slow down the tempo of games. He tends to slow down the passing rate, and the amount of passes how quick you want the passes to go. He likes to take 2-3 touches every time. But yesterday wasn't. I didn't see that about him, and he kept Hazard quiet. I couldn't believe it. He moved around the midfield as you'd like him to, and he supported the defense when he needed to, supported the attack when he needed to. I thought he played really well. The only thing for me is, obviously I have to bear this in mind. He's still young. He's 19, and I understand it. But so is Rashford. They're man at the same age, and I want him to be stronger on the ball. This is the Premier League. Players are going to come for you. They know that you go down easy, and they know the ref is not always going to give you it. So they're going to set him up with that rotational foul. And a lot of the times it's going to get us in trouble. But on yesterday and yesterday alone, I thought it was exceptional in the midfield, and I'll give him an 8.
I agree with you. I know that a lot of people in the chat room are saying 7. Some are saying 8s as well. Claude says 7, but he also agrees. He felt that it was his best performance this season, which is a lot of the impetus from. It's a lot of what people are saying, really, that because he went from last week where he had a pretty bad performance to this week, which was a hell of a lot better. To me, what I liked about it, and someone else mentioned this in the chat room, it was a disciplined performance.
Yeah.
He's very, very clever. There was one moment in the second half where he bought a foul. Like, you could see he could have avoided it, but he recognized the phase of the game. So he just thought, you know what? I'm going to get fouled here. Let me take this foul and get us a free kick, get us possession of that ball and control the game. And I like that. That's the sort of maturity in this game that I want to see to start to develop. He is 19. I always have to remind these people when they go in on Guendouzi, the man's 19 years old. You can see there's something there. You can see. It just needs to be nurtured.
Exactly.
He's a very good passer of the ball. But sometimes, to me, where I think his problem is he makes some bad decisions sometimes with his short passing. And that's where I'm more forgiving of him doing that at 19 than I am of Xhaka when Xhaka does that shit at 26.
Xhaka will still do that when he's 50 years old, man. They're still saving that guy. They're still saving that guy. And can I just say one more thing to justify Koscielny getting a 10? Just one more thing. You just reminded me. He took one in the bollocks yesterday. He took one in his nuts. He took one for the team. I mean, if that don't get you a 10, I don't know what does. You know what I mean? So, salute to that guy, man. Yeah, for taking one in the nuts yesterday.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Right, so that's that. So we're going 8 Guendouzi. Xhaka. How do you think Xhaka performed yesterday?
I thought he did all right, surprisingly. He didn't start very well, but he kind of grew into the game. But Xhaka's always sometimes he's a slow burner into games, and you don't expect Xhaka to just go straight marauding through a game. If he's going to have one of them good games, then he generally grows into it, and eventually, he did what he had to do. He was spraying the ball left, right. A lot of the passes were on point. There weren't a lot of unforced errors from him in this game. Like the word you used earlier on was discipline, and most of all, he was important. He was very, very instrumental in us keeping our shape. That shape in that midfield, making sure everybody's in their position, making sure everybody doesn't wander off too much. I'd seen him a few times call back Guendouzi when he wandered off a little. So for me, he did all of that, and I thought to myself, you know what, this is actually a captain's performance as well from Xhaka, and he's led us out a few times. this season. Some has been successful, some has been an absolute disaster. But based on yesterday's game, I thought he deserved the 7. He didn't do nothing spectacular, but it was discipline from him. And yeah, I thought seven's a good score for him.
I do kind of agree with Claude. So Claude has put 6 for Xhaka. I'd give him a 7 as well, but I do remember there was one mistake he made, and I was like, "Oh, brother, what are you doing?" I was screaming. I was screaming at my TV. But I do agree with you as well. I think
I mean,
he had
compared
a
to the
couple
rates
of
of mistakes, the amount of mistakes that Shaka makes,
yeah.
that one day is like, you know
Yeah.
what, you get a pass for that one.
He does have a couple of sloppy. He does. You know what he is? He's the Koscielny of the central midfield.
He is. I
Because he
agree
always
with you.
gets that one or two dumb mistake or dumb pass. You're like, brother, what the? Where is that going to? But then I actually thought he grew into it better, man, and he kind of
As the game went along.
get his confidence. There was one tackle he made towards the end of the game. I was like, go on, Xhaka. For that reason, I'll give him a 7. But I could see why certain people might give him an 8. I agree with what Jermaine has made 2 points, which I really like so far. So big shout out to Jermaine. He's also said that he thinks that if Suarez does come in, rather than play on the wing, you can see him playing in Xhaka's position. And I agree with you. I can't see Suarez playing as a winger. I can see him playing as a number 8 type, though.
There's a lot. There's a lot of possibilities for Suarez, because if there's one man that knows exactly how to utilize him, it's the guy that we got in charge right now, and I'm sure he's seen a few holes in the team that he reckons Suarez can plug for him, and that's why I think he's going so hard to try and get this guy into the club. So hopefully when it comes around, we'll see what he's about.
Well, I do think with Xhaka, even though I thought he played reasonably well yesterday, I do think consistency needs to get better from him. It needs to get better from him.
The only thing with Xhaka, before we move off of him, is probably the most reliable player for the manager after Maitland.
But honestly, I don't really know why.
Because he plays in every fucking position that there's a deficiency. If somebody gets injured, Shaka's the first one that will tell Unai, listen, play me there. I ain't worried about playing. Centre back, play me there. Left back, play me there.
He's also a liability. Stats
of course, he's a liability. Like I said, there's no saving the guy. But he's a manager's dream. You know, any player that's willing to put their body on the line for the manager and say, look, put me on the war front. I'll get shot for you. I don't mind. Let everybody cost me, but I will get shot for you. You want me to go and do a job for you? I will go out there and do a job for you. Before I remember when we used to even play El Nene in centre back and out of position. He doesn't even get that. He would rather play Xhaka out of position than play Xhaka in his proper place and put El Nene there, so he can fill it, plug a hole in the defense or in the center of midfield. This is what I'm trying to say. So he would rather use Xhaka first, and he's done that now with 2 managers, Wenger and Unai. So when a player is showing that kind of trait to a manager, because we're seeing the worst in him, we don't know what this guy sees in training with the manager. This is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's why, for some reason, they trust him. I don't know why they trust him, but for some reason, they just fucking trust him. And sometimes it puzzles me. I don't understand it, but they're doing it, so he's showing them something. I don't know what it is, but he's showing them something. So, I mean, I used to feel like that about Ramsey back in the day with the previous manager. Like, if Ramsey is fit, he plays. It doesn't matter which position, whether it's in the holding, whether it's on the right, whether it's the number 10. If Ramsey is fit, he plays. I used to feel like that about Ramsey when, during them times that when we were struggling in over the last 3-4 seasons. So Xhaka's now got that stranglehold on this manager. So we'll see. We'll see where it ends. It might all end up in tears. We don't know.
All right. Well, let's progress. Torreira. What would you give Torreira out of 10?
Torreira, disciplined, energetic, so skillful in his skill set, which is breaking play. This guy is one of the best at doing that, and he was everywhere yesterday. Covered a lot of ground. 7 for him. 7 for him.
Yeah, I must admit I've seen people give him an 8, and to me I don't necessarily think he was an 8, but I would say a 7 is a fair mark from him. I think it was more like his old self yesterday.
Yeah.
Really, was really at it yesterday. I actually thought that Guendouzi had more of an effect.
He had a better game than he did. Yeah.
But I thought Torreira was fine. I think a 7 is a fair mark for him. Aaron Ramsey. Now, let me say my piece on Aaron Ramsey.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, if it wasn't because I gave Koscielny man of the match, for me, Aaron was the next in line.
Yeah.
I thought he was fantastic. And what I liked about the way Aaron, Lacazette, and Aubameyang played is if you notice, in the first half, they played very cleverly. Lacazette played towards the left-hand side, in between the left-hand centre-back and the right-back. Sorry, the right-hand centre-back and the right-back, their right-back. And then Aubameyang played between their left-back and their left-hand centre-back, stretching. And it just part of the defenders enough, their movement and their off-the-ball movement, that it allowed Ramsey to just cause rampage. And he was pressing from the front. I've heard people say that Aubameyang was the reason that we were pressing like that. No, for me, it was Aaron. Aaron was running and running and running and causing problems with his movement. I thought to myself, fucking hell, where has this been all season? I was saying that he should be signing a contract if he was doing this all season. But I loved his performance. He does tend to play quite well against Chelsea, Ramsey. For some reason, he does play very well against Chelsea. But to me, I thought he was fantastic yesterday. Absolutely fantastic. I'd go as far as to say, you know what, fuck it. I'll give him a 9 out of 10. I thought it was fantastic yesterday.
There's nothing I could really add to what you said there. You've given a fine assessment of his performance yesterday. I thought it was fabulous yesterday. I mean, for somebody that's about to leave, this is the one thing that people need to understand. When Emery first came to the club, he did say Ramsey is very much part of his plans and he wanted him to stay. But obviously, the contract situations and the money situation is all out of Unai's hands. And if the people above are saying, listen, this guy wants too much money, you know what you could do with the money, they're basically giving him a choice. Well, they left him with no choice, shall I say, because if they really, really wanted to give him a choice, they'll say, all right, you can keep Ramsey. Who would you like to work with him? You know, do you see what I'm trying to say? But they didn't give Unai that choice. They didn't give him that choice. They say Ramsey or. And that's why he had to make the decision he made with regards to his contract being pulled off the table. So, you know, for the guy to be leaving in 6 months and bust the game like he did yesterday, he even took a terrible tackle. I was so worried when he took that. Was it Pedro that tackled him or Alonso? I can't remember exactly who tackled him, but he had a terrible one. Someone in the chat room remind me who took Ramsey out. He was down for a minute, a couple minutes. I was worried. I thought, they fucked his shit up. But
I knew Art would be the one to get it. It was Luis.
It was Luis. Yeah. Thank you, Archie. Big up. So you know, the way he took the tackle, got up, got on with it. Any other player would have said, you know what? If this is what I'm going to be getting, living 6 months, I ain't going to put it all in anymore. You know what I mean? But he just got up, got on with it. And you got to salute that. You've got to salute that. It's a model professional. And, great servant to the club. Like I said, I couldn't add more to what you said earlier on. I have to agree with you with the score you gave him, a 9.
And you know what? Fair play to him because he's leaving. He signed his contract. It would be very easy for him to switch off now. But I think for me, especially because there was a part this season where he wasn't doing that well, but I actually think he's now just relieved, his future's sorted, and he's just playing with freedom. He knows he gets to leave the club because he's going abroad. His status as an Arsenal, I wouldn't call him a legend, but I'll call him a great, an Arsenal great.
Bro, he's a cult hero, man. He's a cult hero, man.
And a cult hero.
Maybe he's gonna age with grace.
So yeah, for me, I'll give him a 9 out of 10. I thought he was fantastic. Let's talk about Aubameyang.
He set the pace. For me, what he did yesterday, yeah, he didn't get the goal. He had a couple sitters, and it pissed me off. I was like, God damn, you, especially that first delivery from Lacazette. I mean, it was a good tackle, but come on, you need to be putting that. You need to be putting that away. But you think to yourself, okay, if the goals is not going your way, what else can you bring to the table? Because it's been kind of dormant the last couple games. I ain't really been feeling Aubameyang, you know what I mean? But yesterday, he showed some presence on the pitch. He worked so hard. He was busting his nut back to make tackles. At one point, he even made a bad boy tackle, gave it to Xhaka, only for Xhaka to piss it away. And I was like, oh my fucking God. Are you kidding me right now? Like, Xhaka, did you just see how far this guy had to run to come and fucking put a tackle in for that ball? He gives you the ball, makes a run back, and you give the ball away? I thought to myself, Jesus Christ. That's when I thought, this guy is going straight to hell. Yeah, they're still saving this guy.
Okay.
So, on the whole performance for Aubameyang yesterday, I thought he deserved a cool 8. He worked so hard yesterday. 8 for Aubameyang. He did well.
Yeah, I think 8 is the general consensus. I know Claude gives him a 7, but Claude accepts that he worked very hard yesterday as well. And that's just the general consensus in the chat room. So I see 8 from YouTube, 8 from Brian OG. Generally 7 from Marbles. I'll give him an 8. I thought I've been very harsh critic of Aubameyang lately because I just want to see more from this guy. If you can't score, do something else. That's all I want from him. And he definitely did something else yesterday. So fair play to him. 8 out of 10. Yeah. Lacazette. Alexandre Lacazette.
Yeah, man. Lacazette, man. The touch for the goal. Because when Hector fizzed in that ball to him, the control. I mean, the way he controlled the ball. And at first, when I first saw the tackle from Pedro, I thought, why didn't it go down? Then I looked at it again. Pedro didn't actually make that kind of a significant contact on Lacazette, but he skipped away from him, took another touch to take it away from Alonso, and that near post shot. It's kind of like it's called a few of those that way. He kind of knows what he's doing when he rifles those into the net. No backlift, literally zero backlift on that. He just rifles it. The ball was in the net before Kepa even realizes it, and that's what you pay. The type of money you pay for Lacazette to be in the squad, to come and play for a club like us. Obviously, I want him to be happy. I want him to have support. I want him to do well for this club. But lately he keeps getting hooked off. Obviously, we don't know what the manager's saying.
On that, don't be fucking booing the manager when he's taking off players.
Oh no! I'm not.
I must admit, I completely and me and Lee sometimes will butt heads, and people think that I'm doing it on purpose to make the show interesting. No, we're butt heads because we're both strong characters.
Yeah, we don't always agree. I don't always agree with Lee. Enough times
exactly.
On your show. I don't always agree with him. Especially the most famous one for me and him is his Neymar Mahrez comparison. But let's go on.
But the one thing I agree with that he said yesterday in his Arsenal Fan TV interview. So with these Arsenal Fan TV interviews, I always watch Claude's, Lee's,
Judges,
Troops, and Kenny Ken if he's on. Oh, and judges, of course.
Yeah, man.
Because those are the people who generally won't agree, but they will always say something that I
Shout
agree.
out to those guys, man. Shout out to those guys.
Big shout out to those guys as well, right? And with Leeds, I 110% agree with what he said about the fact that these fans were singing fucking Giroud's name before he came on the pitch.
I was livid.
But then
I was
they
angry.
booed off the manager for doing a tactical decision. What kind of nonsense is this? Just for holding the game. What kind of bullshit is this? So, to me, I thought it was an absolute disgrace. But for me, I thought Lacazette led from the front beautifully. I'd be tempted to give him a 9. I really am tempted to give him a 9, but I'll give him an 8.5. I thought he was fantastic.
Oh, I'll wrap it all up for you, man. I'll give him a 9, man. I thought it was sensational yesterday. I thought it was hard. It was pickpocketing. He didn't stop running as well. Yeah. I mean, when you say Ramsey initiates the run, it's still for them to follow up. Aubameyang and Lacazette. It's still for them to follow up and shut down those passing lines. And because Chelsea was so insistent on passing out from the back, we were shutting it down. We were shutting it. You know, he got Rudiger so worried. Rudiger was misplacing passes like it's a joke thing. And this is the presence that he has on the pitch. And you know, for me, I thought he did really, really well yesterday. And again, he scored against every team in the top 6.
And mind you, I know a couple of Chelsea fans. Rudiger's been performing well for them recently. And which is a lot of the reason why Cahill hasn't been in the side. But to me, I thought Lacazette made him look silly a few times yesterday. So I'd give him an 8.5 out of 10. Right, so let's quickly do the substitutes, the manager, and then we'll get out of it. So let's do El Nene.
El Nene gets a 5. He did all right. Just came to shore up things. But he gets a 5.
Took one stupid shot that really pissed me off.
Just trying to sell himself in the window.
Oh, flips! You try to go for glory.
Give him a break. Give him a break.
But other than that, I'll give him a 5 out of 10. Alex Iwobi.
They didn't have time to do much. 5 for him as well. Didn't really have time. A lot of the people that came on were just there to just shore up what we already had, and if there was anything that was bonus that was going to come on, then they'll get in the end of it. But it was a shore up job. So 5 for Iwobi.
And then I suppose on that same note, Ainsley Maitland-Niles.
For him, I'll give him a 6 because he came into the midfield to start with until Hector got injured and then had to go. Do you know what it takes to get yanked from a position that you already? Because everything is about mindset in football. And you get on the pitch, you're doing your job as central midfielder, then you get yanked from there to go and do a right back job. And I thought, oh my God, they're going to double up on him now. They're going to try and fuck him up and take the piss out of him. But he stood his ground. He defended well, and he made up for his lack of nonchalant attitude in the West Ham game. It was really pleasing to see. And and I hope Alonso gets retrospective punishment for that he pushed him in the face, or he slapped him in the face or something like that yesterday. So because Sokratis went mad. He went mad at him yesterday. So I hope Alonso gets a retrospective punishment for that.
I remember that.
But I'll give him a 6.
I agree with your 6 as well. This is how you know some people just don't like people, regardless of what they did yesterday. St. Colombo somehow gives Alex Iwobi a 1. Was he that bad? A 1 because of his 15-minute cameo yesterday. I don't know, brother. To me, I think that's ridiculous. But apparently it's a 1. But most people seem to agree with our marks. Lastly, before we go, Emre, what would you give Emre out of 10?
I'll give him an 8. I thought the preparation was spot on. I'm still hurting from West Ham.
Me too. I'm still salty about West Ham.
I'm so salty about it. I'm still hurting from that, man. I can't get that out of my mind just yet. It's going to take a few games to flush that out of my system. So he's winning me back slowly. But he never lost me to begin with. But I'm just wounded about that West Ham game. Yeah, I think eight is a fair score for him. He prepared very, very well. The way he's handled the Ramsey situation with the whole squad, the Ozil situation. People might agree, people might disagree. His substitution was spot on yesterday. I thought every substitution he made came to do the job that they were told to do, which was to shore up the game, make sure the game was locked and put away. And for all of that, you can't knock that skill level, the details that it goes into preparing for things. And for me, I thought it was fantastic yesterday. So yeah, gotta give him an 8.
What was I going to say? Yeah, I would agree with you. I think an 8's a fair score. I thought he came back because I'll tell you what, as well as the players, he had to come back and motivate those players after last week. He had to reevaluate himself last week and ask himself some serious questions. And for me, those questions weren't about Mesut Ozil because we saw yesterday Ozil is not necessarily the be-all and end-all to us creating.
This guy's got bigger problems than Ozil in the team with this club.
To me, it's not a fact of Ozil. It's a fact of, all right, you have to be honest with yourself and ask yourself, if players are playing well, do they deserve to play? The players that I'm playing, are they playing in the right position? And motivate those players to get the absolute maximum out of them. Somehow, we saw an Aubameyang who went from a shadow last week to someone on drugs this week.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened.
Get some of them balloons, man. Get some of them balloons.
Yeah, I don't know if you got them balloons as a special treat. I don't know what happened.
I need me some of that, man.
Aubameyang was on it this week. Ramsey was on it this week. Lacazette was on it this. Koscielny was on it this week. I want to see that shit on Friday, and I want to see that going forward. And that's the thing, because don't get it twisted, and this is where I can understand what people say about let's not get carried away. Because it's brilliant that we've seen this yesterday. To me, and I said this in my review, it's my favorite performance yet. More than the Tottenham one, more than the Fulham away one, because to me, those games, we were lucky to not give away goals.
Yeah.
Yesterday, they didn't have a shot on target.
I think it was up there with the Liverpool 1-1 game because of the discipline. Because we won the discipline. Yeah.
We won the game.
Yeah.
And to me, it was discipline. It was measured. We had a clean sheet. People actually gave a damn for once. Let's see if we can continue that going forward against the Man United, where that game to me is more important than just winning a 4th round game. We've got to put a dent in their confidence.
Yeah.
We're moving forward. I can't even remember who the next game is. Is it City? Moving forward?
Yeah, no, Cardiff.
Is it Cardiff and then City?
Yeah. Cardiff. City is in February.
Cardiff, we should absolutely blow through at home.
Cardiff is on a Tuesday night, I believe, on the 29th.
And then City, flipping heck. As long as we don't get disgraced against City, I'm happy.
I think we'll be all right, man. I think we'll be all right. Looking forward.
I think the diamond formation that people were going on about was inspired. For me, I thought the diamond formation was well crafted by Ebre. I think that's what we should use going forward.
Boy, so, horses for courses as well. You've got to let everything is horses for courses. It's studied what could nullify what Chelsea was bringing. Not every team is going to bring what Chelsea was bringing. Chelsea was coming with a false 9, and he knew they were going to try and run off Pedro and Hazard, and that was the way to nullify them, and that's why it's come with that formation.
But here's the thing, though. To me, I think it's just common sense that if you don't have winners, don't play a shape. That means you have to have winners. So I think if the diamond shape allows the fullbacks to get forward and makes the midfield sturdy enough that when the fullbacks go forward, we still have people back there to cover. I think that's important. So
it's good to know we can use it. It's good to know that it's part of the weapons that we can use.
Exactly.
It's there if we need it.
Exactly. So yeah, for me, I'm happy. So I'll give Emery an 8. So let's see going forward. Right. So that's it from us, guys. Thank you so much for sticking with us. I know that Guna Talk has started. So by all means, Tom's a big friend of the show. I've got to get Tom on again at some point.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But yeah, I'll we'll do a preview. You know what? I might get Tom on with Stel. I think that would be a good combination.
Yeah, why not? It'd be nice to see them to go at it still. Yes.
Yeah. So Stel will be on obviously later in the week to go through the United game. He's obviously a United fan, so it's always considering how down he was when we played them earlier in the season. It would be good to find out what his mood is.
He's a good sport, man. Stel, every time I've been on with Stel, he's a very, very good sport. He doesn't take life too seriously, and good friend of the show too. So
as people call him, which I know won't make him happy, but as people call him, he's the United version of Lee. So if you ever met Stel, you're wondering who Stel is, do check out the show. Probably do it on Wednesday, and I'll see if Tom is available.
Salute to Stel, man. I love Stel.
And also, if you like this video, crush, destroy, drop kick the shit out of the like button. I appreciate it when you guys do that. Also, if you've not subscribed to me yet, hit that subscribe button. We're right through the 3,500 mark. So thank you guys for subscribing. Let's push towards 4,000 now. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I've covered all bases.
Yeah, covered all bases.
But Ola, do you want to let the people know where they can find you real quick?
Yeah, man. You can find me on Twitter, Black Scorpion Free. It'll be in the description below. Instagram handle is the same, Black Scorpion Free. Follow man on there. We engage and converse. We get into it on anything sports. I'm always about sports. So yeah, I don't do politics. Sports.
You can follow me on Twitter at Colossal Chig. That's CHIG. Follow me on Instagram, Guna_Eagle_I1. And you can follow me on Patreon, which is Guna_Eagle_I. Me and Ola did a MMA show on there a couple of days ago.
Go and check it out.
So go check it out. It's on my Patreon. $5 a month. You'll get to see all the shows I've done with Lee, Ola. I'm sure me, Ola, and Lee will meet up in some sort of pub near their area at some point and do a show. I think that would be hilarious. So
that'll be wicked. Still working on it.
So we're working. Trust me, we're working. We're working on all sorts for you guys. So do check out the Patreon. And I think that's pretty much it. So if you guys are still here, I don't even know why you're still here. Go over to Guna Talk.
TGT.
I think Tom has on Drew
and Kenny Ken,
a friend of the show, and Kenny Ken. So you know Kenny Ken is family as well. So go check out the Guna Talk, and we're out of here, people. Take care. Peace.
One love.